the King. Well, this is with the Kings, and similar to the trade that we talked about we were talking about deals that we threw out to Matt George, host of Locked On Kings, and the reports that we've seen recently is like, hey, Kings are shopping this 9th overall pick for players that can help them now. And if the Kings are so dead set of saying we are desperate to make the playoffs, like we want to be a legitimate better team, what can they package together and go out and get a guy who might not come there in free agency, but is under contract? And they're like, all right, let's swing for it. Let's make a legit swing. So let's say they do call up Dallas and they say Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley, number 9 for Porzingis and Josh Green. And now Kings fan, if you're saying right off the top, you're like, all right, Kings fans or Kings would never do that. What a Kings lineup of De'Aaron Fox, Halliburton, Harrison Barnes, and KP as a top 4. Like, that's better than what they've had, right?
Yeah, I like we devalue Porzingis so much, but the spacing he would bring to that team would be massive.
Yes, with a front court of Porzingis and Harrison Barnes with the backcourt of Fox and Halliburton. That's a lot of fun, in my opinion. And so
they've been starting Rashawn Holmes and Bagley, and like these aren't guys that space the floor. They can shoot a little bit, but they're not spacing the floor all that much.
And when you look at the money difference, like there's I say only in this, but there's a $10 million money difference between Buddy and KP every year, right? I mean, because Buddy's under contract for multiple seasons too, like KP. If you're the Kings, you say, all right, the upside of Kristaps Porzingis, he's like a guy like that's never going to come here in free agency probably. So now you have him under contract for multiple seasons. And the Marvin Bagley stuff, like where are they at with him? Are they going to get like positive value if they trade him? Or is it just hey, we just got to write this off and say, here we go. And then you're just swapping out pick 9 for Josh Green, basically, right?
What you said about Marvin Bagley is the same thing the Mavericks are saying about Porzingis, I think, right now. I don't know. Are we going to get positive value for him? I don't know. Are we going to ride this out? I guess.
So if you're Dallas in this scenario, you're not getting you're in 2 camps with KP. I think if you're in the camp of like, all right, you want to trade KP. If you're in that camp, you're either in the camp of, hey, I would trade KP for multiple pieces to go on the team, or you're like, hey, I would only trade KP if it's going to get me a bona fide number 2 guy next to Luka. I think you're in one of those 2 camps if you're in the camp of like, oh, do you want to trade KP? Now, is Buddy Hield a bona fide number 2? No, he's not. Is he insurance for Tim Hardaway Jr.? Yeah. Could you play Tim and Buddy together? Yeah.
Not in the playoffs.
Not defensively, but
no, yeah.
But then you swing for Marvin Bagley, right? Who is a younger version of a Dwight Powell, and you say, hey, this is like, can Dwight Powell like mentor you and mold you into teach you how to roll? And hey, you can have all of these.
I'm going to take a page out of Giannis's book. Coach, if you want me to be Dwight Powell, then I'm going to go back to Greece. Did you read that story?
Yeah, that was
part
great.
of the story where Giannis, the assistant coach, looks at Giannis and says, look at Nick Batum right there. If you work hard, you can become Nick Batum. And he goes, Coach, if I'm going to become Nick Batum in this league, I'm going back to Greece.